Hello everyone, Giltar here with a triple feature action figure review. This time we'll be looking at the Wave 1 toys out of the Iron Monger Build-A-Figure series of Marvel Legends toys. Now, this series of Marvel Legends toys basically has an Iron Man theme to it. The first wave contains Iron Patriot, Classic Iron Man, and Heroic Age Iron Man. And I believe the second wave, which is going to be coming out this late summer or early fall, will have an Iron Patriot themed War Machine from Iron Man 3, the movie, as well as the Mark 42 Iron Man armor from the Iron Man 3 movie. Also, it will have Ultron. I'm not sure exactly what version it is, but from the photos I've seen of the toy, it looks like essentially a classic version of the Ultron character from the comic books. Now, with these toys, basically, Iron Patriot is a repaint of the Extremis Iron Man figure from the, I believe, the Terrax series of Marvel Legends toys. Classic Iron Man is basically a repaint of the Classic Iron Man toy from the Marvel Legends Series 2 Twin Packs. And finally, the Heroic Age Iron Man is an entirely new mold. It is not a repaint of any existing Marvel Legend toy. Now, each figure comes with a part of the Iron Monger Build-A-Figure. Iron Patriot comes with the torso, Classic Iron Man comes with the left leg, and Heroic Age Iron Man comes with the right leg. With the first three figures, you can build the vast majority of the Iron Monger toy, and I'll be reviewing that partial assembly in a future action figure review. For now, let's first look at articulation. Starting with the common articulation points for all three fingers. They all have ball hinged shoulders and wrists, double hinged elbows and knees, a mid-torso hinge, and thigh swivels. Now, where they differ, starting with Iron Patriot, it does not have a waist joint, whereas Heroic Age and Classic Iron Man toys do have a waist swivel. It also has limitations in terms of the hip joints and ankle joints. The hip joints of Iron Patriot are limited by the pelvis sculpt. Unfortunately, the range of motion back and forward for the hips, as well as side to side, is greatly hindered. The ankles are in a similar situation in which, while they are, essentially ball hinged in terms of motion, for the ankles, they're greatly hindered by the ankle armor of the Extremis Iron Man design. However, on the positive side, I really like how the shoulder armor articulation is designed. They're basically hinge joints, but just the way that they move over the shoulders, you can get the arms in a variety of poses without compromising the look of the or of that area of the Iron Man toy. Next up, the Classic Age, or the Classic Iron Man rather. It has good hip articulation, but they are hindered by the red pods on either hip there. They're solid sculpts and they have no movement at all, so your ability to move the Iron Man toy's hips side to side are somewhat restricted, though forward and back motion are largely not affected. Finally, with the Heroic Age Iron Man, it has 2 points where I think are hindered in terms of articulation. The wrists are hindered by the gauntlet sculpts, and the neck articulation, basically from side to side and downwards, is okay, but its ability to look upward to any significant degree is really limited. It can't really look up that well, which can sort of get in the way of you posing the toy in flight poses, for example, or in a pose where I set it up here, where Iron Man should be kind of looking more forwards, but because it can't really look upwards, the way I have it posed here, the Iron Man toy is basically looking downwards and slightly to its front, which is not terrible, but you can't make Iron Man look directly ahead of itself if you try to recreate a pose like this. Now, overall, all three figures are nice additions to any Marvel Legend or Iron Man toy collection. If you're an Iron Man fan like I am, I definitely say, get all three toys. However, if you only have room in your budget for one figure, it really comes down to what you're looking for. With Iron Patriot, I think it and the Classic Iron Man toys, they're probably the two best looking toys of the three. I find that Heroic Age Iron Man, visually, it looks a little jumbled, a little busy. In addition to that, I'm not a big fan of the bleeding edge Iron Man armor design Whether we're talking simply visually or also on a conceptual level, I'm not a big fan of the concept of the bleeding edge armor. So yeah, I think Iron Patriot is a really good looking figure, albeit it is limited in terms of its posing abilities. So while the armor design I think looks great, and I think the color scheme looks great, your ability to get it into a lot of different varied poses is very much non-existent. There's only a few poses that can go into that look decent. Everything else is going to be a bit troublesome at best. So I'd say if you're a fan of the Extremis armor and you're a fan of the Iron Patriot design, definitely go for that one. Myself, even though I didn't grow up in a time where the classic red and gold Iron Man armor was basically used in the comics, as a kid, I couldn't afford comics often, so when I did buy comics, I would buy the second-hand ones, the old ones from the comic shop for like a nickel or a dime or whatever it was when I was a kid in the late 80s, early 90s. And I, at that point, had to buy comics that were from the mid to early 80s, late 70s. So, to me, the Iron Man design I'm familiar with from my childhood and that I have a nostalgic connection to is the classic red and gold Iron Man. I really like this toy's accessory, which is an alternate head sculpt. It comes packaged in the blister card packaging with the horned mask helmet version of the Iron Man classic design, but the alternate head is the more, I guess, iconic and familiar smooth domed Widow's Peak Iron Man helmet design. So you can use either one, it's up to you. That toy is also, of the three, is the only figure in this wave of Iron Man toys that has an accessory. It has a build-a-figure part, but that's not really an accessory to the toy itself. And again, that's why I consider only the alternate head sculpt as an accessory, and that is one of the strong points of the figure. A weak point outside of some points of articulation, like I said, the hip pods there, limiting the hip joint movement. Another point of criticism I have is for the chest emitter paint. It's not really a gold color. I think it might be sort of a pale yellow, but because of it going over the red plastic, it's just not holding very strongly. It kind of looks almost like a weird flesh-toned color on the chest emitter, and I really think that, considering that Hasbro was able to put gold paint on other parts of the toy with no problems, I don't see why it couldn't have done the same thing on the chest emitter. And it's not a problem with a single toy, it's a production problem, because in all the photos I saw of this toy, and of all the other classic Iron Man toys I saw on the pegs at the stores in my area, they all had the same paint application. So it's a production issue, and I think more than the hip articulation, that's more of a glaring issue because it's something that you see in package, and to me, it is something that is visually distracting. Aside from that, though, I think it's a really great looking toy. The articulation on it is really good overall. You can put it in a variety of good poses. And again, I'm definitely more biased towards that visual design of the Iron Man armor because it's something that I grew up with from childhood. So if you're into the more classic look of Iron Man, that's probably the toy of these three for you. Finally, the Heroic Age Iron Man. In terms of toy design and in visual design, the concept of the armor, it's the most modern. If you're more of a newer Iron Man fan, or if you're an Iron Man fan that is again more biased towards the bleeding edge armor design, go for this one. Overall, it has really great articulation. It has rocker ankle joints, which definitely add to the posing potential of the toy. So if you're someone who's looking for a really great toy for posing, and again, if you're into the bleeding edge Iron Man armor design, the Heroic Age Iron Man toy is the one for you. So yeah, if I were to again break it down into, if you can only buy one of these three, depends on your tastes. And classic is the classic look. Iron Patriot is really going towards the extremist look, and then the Heroic Age is going for the current modern bleeding edge Iron Man armor look. I think in terms of value for what you're getting, the Marvel Legends toys in my area basically range between $18 and $19 Canadian. I don't think it's a bad value. I think overall you're getting a really good value for your money, considering that you're getting maybe limited accessories or no accessories. Basically, you are getting a large Build-A-Figure with this series of toys. Iron Monger looks like it's going to be probably going to be an 8.5, almost 9-inch tall toy. So I think it's a really good investment for these figures, because you won't be able to see it until I guess again late summer, early fall of this year before you're able to complete Iron Monger. But it should come together as a really good Build-A-Figure from what I've seen so far in terms of these 3 parts. And again, I will be putting up a video centered on the Iron Monger Build-A-Figure shortly. So overall, yeah, you really can't go wrong with any of these toys. I definitely say if you're an Iron Man fan, go for all of them. So as usual, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you at the next video.